Hello and welcome to commentary of my PB for Shin Megami Tensei if No Major Glitches on the Super Famicom, and this is the Yumi route. I just managed to update my PB. I was doing runs offline and now I am doing a commentary for it right after the run was completed while it's still fresh in my mind. So without further ado, let's get going. Yeah, I was able to PB by about 20 minutes or so. This is really nice, and I wasn't happy with my old PP for this game. I'll try to maybe try to do an educational commentary for this as well, like it would be a marathon run, but we'll see. I don't know that much about the game, so take what I say with a grain of salt. I haven't really prepared for this. But anyway, we're just in the early game here, picking up the luck build, which you can get by selecting the final option for all of the dialogue in the beginning with Nova. The guy is called Nova. For sake of speed, we do questions 8, 9 and 10. We pick the first dialogue choice, so we don't have to actually select all of the final choices to get the luck build that we want, but yeah, that's what we were aiming for there. And here's Hazama telling us some cryptic stuff about the world ending and our ordinary days of high school life come to an end, as our school building has been kinda taken over into an alternate dimension, I believe. It's what's going on. The game is in Japanese, so I don't have the best understanding of the plot. I never played the game through in English, I've only played it in Japanese, so my plot knowledge of the game is a bit rusty perhaps, but or missing details, but I don't think that's gonna bother anyone too much, hopefully. So yeah, this is the beginning of the game where the school gets taken into expans, and it's in an alternate dimension now, so everybody's gonna panic. Oh, this is Yumi Shirakawa, I believe is her last name. Shirakawa, she's the partner we choose. You can also decline and get a different partner, but we're not doing that. We're doing Yumi, which is I would say the easiest route of this game to learn, probably. I already made a couple mistakes with my movement here. The reason why you want to go left there, even though the right is the correct way to go to get the floppy disk, but we go left there to advance our moon cycle because we want to kill some of these cycles before the first proper boss of the game. Talk to our teacher in the classroom. He doesn't really offer us any help, and now we're just gonna go prepare ourselves for the upcoming shenanigans. We collect some stuff from the storeroom here, then we take one step to quote-unquote the incorrect way to advance the moon cycle again, and then we'll do our little trip here to collect all of the gear that we will need for the rest of the early game. We get like armor, helmet, stuff like that. These are just different club rooms, and the club presidents just give us stuff. And importantly, config to battle animations to none, I believe it was, and then also the auto battle mode to repeat our last action. Make some of these fights easier, then quickly equip only sword for Yumi and MC with everything else. We want Yumi to die here, that's why we put her first in the battle menu as well, because we want her to have a specific guardian, so it's important that we get her killed here. This Preda can be nasty, but in this run it was all completely fine. Yumi died, which is what we want. Put the points into speed, and this dude asks if you want to save the game. We say no, we don't need to save the game. And then Yumi gets a new guardian. Her first guardian is sort of like a or the guardian that she gets here rather, is the kind of a strength-based one. But she's not gonna be staying on that for too long. So we found out that demons have invaded the school, and now we just go back to tell our teacher about it, who does not care at all. He's awfully nonchalant for the situation at hand. So here Yumi is basically, oh, we gotta do it ourselves, I guess, and yeah. Then we get a astral projection of Hazama, who tells us some cryptic stuff. I don't actually know what he says here, but I assume it's some cryptic warnings or something. The early game is pretty rough in this game, but luckily we have Mr. Hee-Ho helping us here, who gives us a free Jack Frost. So now that we have one demon, it makes the early game a lot easier. Jack Frost also has Rakukacha, which is the defense buff in this game, and it's really helpful. So we're gonna instantly summon him, and then also cast Mapper. Mapper in this game is it's very buggy. I don't know exactly how it works, but I believe when you have Mapper active, it gives you 80% chance to act first or something like that. So we always basically have advantage when a fight random encounter starts, which is really good, because otherwise this early game would be even more terrible than it already is. So we go to a gym, and here's the first boss of the game, Mary Jane. Not too difficult, but she can hit pretty hard. We have Yumi in the back row because we don't want her to die just yet. She goes down very easily, more points into speed. And Yumi can start putting points into her intelligence. And then we're gonna have another boss fight in very quick succession here next, but there's a random encounter before that, but that's not a big deal. More points into speed. We want to get 13 speed before the Vine boss that is in the domain of what is it? Domain of Pride. Yeah, that is it. Yeah, so Jack Frost in the front row, Yumi next to her, MC in the back row. We don't want MC to die, but we do want Yumi to die here again, because that will force her to switch guardians. And she dies, and after that we are free to finish the fight off. Honore Koshyakuna. Something, something, something. My Japanese is not good enough to read this quickly, and my kanji knowledge is very rusty, so I cannot actually read all of it. That's why I like SMT1. SMT1 doesn't have any kanji, so I can actually read the text in that game. But yeah, for SMT2 and SMT if, my kanji knowledge is kind of a handicap. But yeah, there we go. Now Yumi is on Alp, that's her guardian. It gives a boost to her magic, and that's what we're gonna keep her for the rest of the game. So we equip Yumi with her gear now, because we don't want her to die anymore. We're gonna want to keep her alive. Climb up to the 3rd floor, and that allows us to enter the expanse. We're no longer trapped in the school. We defeated Mary Jane earlier, and she gives us a ring that we can use to expand the expanse. I don't know. It unlocks the next domain, which in this case, like I mentioned earlier already, is Pride. So Domain of Pride. That's the first proper dungeon of the game if you don't count the school dungeon. It's pretty short. It's kind of eases you into this game, if you can call it easing into the game. I mean, the final boss Vine of this dungeon is actually very difficult. So I wouldn't say that it's actually like easing you into the game, it's just Even this dungeon is pretty damn hard if you're playing this blind. Oh, inside this every dungeon has a small... this kind of small... well, not every dungeon, but most dungeons have this kind of small town. So we're gonna buy ourselves a guns pistol, and I'll buy myself some bullets for my gun. Because MC is gonna be in the back row, and when he's in the back row he cannot actually attack with his sword, and the gun is just very good in the early game. And we're gonna also buy ourselves some smoke balls so we can escape from battles if we get into a hairy situation. So MC with the gun is gonna be chilling in the back row behind Jack Frost for maximum protection. And he can also attack from there. And we get a stone Hazama or something who collapses. That's weird. But yeah, we want to fight the next boss at New Moon because he's gonna be weaker on Full Moon. So what we want to do here is to take extra step here to make sure that our moon cycle decreases. The way the moon cycle decreasing works in this game is kind of weird in a way, because it takes 16 steps for the moon cycle to advance, but if you enter to a different floor or try to open a fantasy chest, it will actually make it so that the moon cycle does not advance. So we take extra step there to make sure that it advances on that floor. And here we're gonna try to recruit Kobold. Kobold is a demon who has Rakukacha. It's just very helpful to have. It's not mandatory, but more Rakukacha users is always nice. The way recruiting in this game works, there's a couple choices we're looking for. I usually look for Hohoemu, followed by Settoksuru, and then give them what they want, and then if Mochiron is an option, I will select that one. However, with Kobold as well, you can select Komatterunda, and then I don't remember what the other option is called after that. It's called Hanash something, like I just want to talk, basically. So selecting those makes recruiting him a bit easier. And once we have him recruited, we can talk to him again, and that makes him go away. Once you have the demon, you can just talk the encounters away, unless it's Full Moon. On Full Moon you cannot talk to demons, because they are angry on Full Moon. Yumi has access to Hama with this Guardian, which means she can instantly kill some of these encounters, which is very helpful. And here's a Goblin, it's another demon that we want. He has Tarukacha and Makakacha, so the physical attack boost and magic attack buff. However, we were unable to do that, so it's back to regularly scheduled Hama murdering. These female zombie students are very good to kill since they give a lot of EXP. Alright, so we now have made it to the boss floor. So this is where Vine is, but we cannot fight him quite yet. I still want to recruit at least one more demon, ideally two more, but in this run I wasn't able to recruit Goblin before fighting him, which is fine. So we just want Siak. Siak is the demon that we want. He has Makakacha and Trafuri. Trafuri is very necessary to run away from some of these fights later. So I get lucky here with Siak. Wait, did I get lucky with Sumac? Yeah, that was a pretty free recruit. He didn't ask for anything. So, pretty lucky there. Immediately put them in the front row. And here I would still want to find a goblin if possible, but I wasn't able to find him. I made sure to double check that I have my gun equipped, since sometimes these demons ask you to lower your weapons, and what actually happens then is that you will actually lower your weapons. So sometimes after you talk to demons, you actually put your gun away and you need to re-equip it. Since I don't understand Japanese perfectly, I sometimes just make sure that I actually still have my weapon equipped. After a dialogue, Siak especially is one of those demons who will ask you to lower your weapons from time to time, so I was just double checking that I still had my gun. Because entering the wine fight without a gun is game over immediately, so I've gotten a bit paranoid after I have made that mistake a few times. I'm gonna enter this room to reset my moon cycle, which it was not necessary here, but anyway, I just did that for some reason. So, Vine. He's weaker on New Moon, but he can still hit pretty hard. I start by buffing a Raku, Maka, and another Raku, and Hero uses gun from the back row, and Yumi attacks with the Sionga. Yeah, Yumi has Sionga already. It's very nice. The second tier magic skill this early. I missed there, and I got hit with I don't know what that attack is, but it hurts like hell. And since MC took a big hit, I need to heal him and hopefully keep him alive. I got pretty good hits with my gun in that fight. Yumi ran out of MP, but that's fine. Was able to defeat him, but yeah, if you don't know that bosses get weaker on New Moon, then you might stumble onto this fight at like high moon cycle and you're gonna die. Vine is pretty nasty fellow. Here I would like to use Hama to instantly kill this male zombie student, but I'm not able to because Yumi is out of MP. I don't have Mapper active either right now, so this is a little bit scary. Luckily Jack Frost also has Dia, so I can use that to heal myself a little bit. I'm gonna advance the cycle to 1 out of 8 because there's a quick escape route out of these dungeons, but you cannot use it on New Moon, so I advance it to 1 out of 8, and then we use the geyser here, and that takes us back to the entrance of the dungeon. I was a bit scared there since I didn't have any MP left to properly fight that, so I was just hoping to run away. But yeah, since my Siak died against Vine, I'm gonna heal here and revive him and heal everybody else, which is not something you want to have to do this early, since it will cost you about 1k. Yeah, it's 1k Maka just for reviving Siak. It's very painful. And this run also has some money trouble later, so I blame this revive among a couple other revives in the run that made my money be lower than I wanted. Anyway, since we defeated Vine, he gave us the ring. I don't know what they're called, probably I just called them the ring. And with the ring we can use this portal to open up the next domain, which in this case is Gluttony. So all of these domains are named after 7 deadly sins, but there's only 5 of them, I think, instead of 7. So some of them are missing. Like Lust is not a dungeon in this game, but it could be, I guess. Anyway, since this is Gluttony, we are gonna make our way through here. At this point we don't want to fight a lot of these encounters here, so we're gonna be using Traffury to escape. There's a few encounters later that we want to fight, but we don't want to fight encounters yet, since we get better value from the fights later, since they give more EXP. we're just gonna be walking through here. And using Trafuri to escape for most of these fights. I take one extra step here to make sure that the moon cycle advances. Which I don't think it actually did. Funnily enough. Either way. Oh, I thought that would advance this. Maybe I saw wrong. Whatever. That's not that important right now. This dungeon has some of these kind of annoying spots that rotate your character into random direction like here, that you kind of have to be careful of. Since this route also is very strict with the moon cycle, you don't have like many spare steps to take. If you make movement mistakes, your moon cycle will be all out of whack, and then you're gonna lose time to fix it later. So it's kind of important that you do not make too many movement mistakes. So this is the town hub of this area. So we can heal here. I don't really need to heal that much, but it's always good to just refresh CXMB for Trafuri and yeah, just make sure that he has as much MP as possible once we get deeper into the dungeon. There's also a shop here. This is kind of a optional thing, but you can upgrade your bullets here. I'm pretty broke, but I also just figured that I really want better bullets. It helps out a lot for the next boss fight and also random encounters, so it's kind of a safety strat, I suppose, that I'm doing with those. If you can skip those, then you most likely have a bit more money later on when it matters. But I'm not that comfortable with this game, so I just opt for the safety bullets. They are very helpful for me. We reached level 10, which is I'm slightly ahead in EXP, I would say, but not by much. We want to reach level 14 by the end of this dungeon. That's kind of the goal. And we also want to have 12 intelligence and 10 magic on Yumi by the end, because she has a very big role in killing killing the final boss of this domain, and she needs magic for that. So here is Otsuki again. We have to fight him here. Unfortunately, I don't have Goblin. If I had Goblin, I would use him for Tarukaja to make MC's bullets hurt a bit more. I don't have that, unfortunately. So I'm kind of relying on Yumi to do the most of the damage with Zeong, but she immediately misses. I have those Makakaja buffs that I mentioned earlier, which helps with this, but it's a bit of a pain of a fight. Luckily, Otsuki kept targeting Jack Frost instead of killing Yumi or killing Kobold. So we're able to take him down. Unfortunately, Sayak died again, so I have one revival item, which I have to use. It's a shame, because keeping that would be really nice for later, but if my Trafuri user dies, there's no other way than to revive him. I really need him to be alive. It's this item, Chigaeshi no Tama. But I have a bit of a trouble reading it, so I was thinking which item was it, but it was this one. Revive my Sayak and put him back to the front. Use Yumi to heal him up a bit. Also heal Jack Frost because he took a bit of a beating against Otsuki. Actually, is it Shigaeshi no Tama or is it Sagaeshi no Tama? I'm actually not sure. That hiragana is always a bit difficult to read. Anyway, we're just gonna make our way deeper into the dungeon. There is a save spot to my right that I opted not to use. I really didn't want to save this run. And I'm happy that I didn't, because saving in this run is kinda... If you die, you lose so much time that saving really doesn't become very useful at all at any point, I would say. The run is pretty rough in that way, like... If you take a one bad death, it's pretty much a reset, and there's some RNG in this. Well, there's a decent amount of RNG in the fights and random encounters, so... Just kinda have to deal with that. So we entered this kind of spin tile, fall down, bang my head against the wall because I had a case of bad movement there. Alright, and now we are finally at the spot where we can earn ourselves a new ring that we can use to open the next domain. It's this guy, Bono. If you played Strange Journey, you know who this is. This is Orcus. And Orcus has a bad case of a stomach parasite. So basically, we are tasked with entering his stomach and killing the parasite for him. So we're gonna sneak our way into his meal, and he's gonna swallow us inside him. And now we are inside Orcus. This part of the dungeon is really cool. The way this part of the run is shaped, the small inside Orcus dungeon is shaped, it resembles an intestine, which is really cool and really funny at the same time. It kind of goes from east to west, and it does this kind of sneak or snake type pattern. I have the map open on my notes, so I'm looking at it right now, and it's really cool how they made this kind of dungeon in. The game came out in 1994. It's really just, it's a small detail, but it's something that I really appreciate in a game like this. You can tell that the developers had a lot of fun making this game, as is usually the case with SMT games. You can see a lot of those fun little references that the developers make, and small attention to detail like this. So even 30 years later, I do appreciate it. Thank you, Atlas. Make more games like this, please. So these guys are... I don't know what they're called, but they give a lot of EXP, so these are the enemies that we want to kill. I got a follow-up there, which was really nice. I'm just gonna use Jack Frost and his Bufula to take them down. We don't want to use all of his MP because we want to keep some of it to use Rakugacha again, or no, to use a Bufula against the Parasite boss that is coming up. But yeah, we're just gonna keep moving. Take some more fights when we can. Slimes don't give that much EXP, so I'm just skipping them. Usually you want to kill those worms or the stomach flowers or whatever they are called. Yeah, these guys. Since I bought the upgraded bullets, MC can actually kill them pretty easily, but if you had the weaker bullets, you would be relying on Yumi's Seong a bit more, which I don't really like. She gets MP back for leveling up, sure, but it's still a bit annoying to spend a lot of her MP. I just really like having the stronger bullets for this section. There's a couple poison spots here that I'm avoiding by moving like this, and we're almost at the parasite, just a little bit more. However, I think I made a small mistake here that I tried to use the parasite EXP to reach level 14 so I don't take too many fights, but the problem with that is that I had less EXP than I thought, so I'm not actually going to reach level 14 after defeating Parasite like you're supposed to, so I do have to fix that. Jack Frost got poisoned there, so I'm gonna do a small little trick where I desummon him and resummon him, and that gets rid of the poison. I have a disc poison as well, but I'm saving that for human characters because you cannot desummon them to get rid of the poison. But yeah, that snake encounter was perfect to take if I had my EXP for this one. If I had my EXP figured out properly. So this teleporter gets us to Parasite. But before fighting him, I want to summon my kobold back in. One extra body on the field to tank stuff, and also he has Rakukacha. I'm gonna heal everybody up, and I also have one Vitality Incense and one Magic Incense. They boost the respective stats by 1. I'm gonna use the Magic Incense on the Yumi, not Yumiko, right, too much KMT, and the Stamina Incense on MC to give him a bit more HP. And yeah, that's Parasite. Bufula on Jack Frost, buff Makakacha, Rakukacha gun, and then use a Megiddo stone that we picked up earlier in this dungeon. And with this magic stat, one hit from Yumi will kill this guy. And that's Parasite down. If you miss the Megiddo stone, you're pretty much dead. Or if the Parasite doesn't die for some reason, then you have to use Zeong and Rage. But I got him down in one hit, and nobody died, which is very surprising. And nobody got poisoned either. He likes to poison you as well. Now that we defeated the Parasite, we can leave. We got the ring for helping Orcus, and we are now looking for a way out. There's a guys here like not too far from here. Hey, there's a goblin that we failed to recruit back in Pride. I'm gonna recruit him now, and I'm actually going to be successful. There you see me select Mochiron. Mochiron is like the best diet. If you can get that to appear after set Toxuru, always pick that one, since that will guarantee that the recruit will work. As long as you give what they ask for after selecting it. But yeah, my MC is not level 14 yet, so I'm still trying to take some fights. I know that he's very close. But yeah, I still need to get that done before the next dungeon. And yeah, that would have been a good fight to take, but I still had my Trafuri on auto, which I forgot. I thought I had Hama. I tried to kill her there, but I accidentally ran away. No big deal, there will be more encounters that I can kill soon. And here we get to the guys here that will take us to the beginning of the dungeon. We would be ready to leave now, but there's one thing left that we want to do. For the next dungeon, we're gonna go pick up some Fuma bells, which are basically the Estoma item in this game that makes it so that anything below your level will not appear as a random encounter as long as you have the Fuma bell active. So we're gonna go and pick some of those up. On the way there though, I'm gonna get my missing EXP by taking this fight. Not the best fight to take, but it gives a decent amount of EXP for no risk. I had my 10 vitality, so I'm putting more points into my speed again. Yumi is done with her intelligence and magic, so I'll put points into her vitality to keep her alive in some of the later fights in the run. And yeah, I was kind of thinking if I'm going the wrong way here, but no, this is completely fine. Just had a small think there. And there is a casino. We're not gonna be actually playing the casino though. What we want to do is pick up or buy some coins here. Select the amount for 50. Each Fuma bell is 50 coins, so we want 9 of them. They're at the very bottom of this list. Fuma no Suzu. They're very important for the next dungeon. That dungeon basically wouldn't be possible if you didn't have these items. Well, it would be possible, it would just take a very long time. We get the disco music from SMT2, everybody's favorite. Also featured in the Pixie Fukireta video, if you've seen that on YouTube. If you haven't, you're missing out. And now we just want out of the dungeon. We are ready to go to the next one. Which is Sloth, my least favorite dungeon in the entire game. I kinda like the idea, but the execution is horrible. So how Sloth works is that we have some students in the basement who are excavating. And the way the excavation works is that every time a full cycle passes, they make progress, and they will finish the excavation after 8 full cycles have passed, which means that we are literally just running around this dungeon to pass moon cycles. At least we have the sick Ginza theme from SMT1 playing in the background. That's a good music choice for this dungeon at least. But yeah, we're gonna talk to this keeper here at 1-8. And then next time we talk to her at 2-8, falling 2-8. And that will be one cycle. And we're gonna do that 8 times. So it's horrible. I don't know who decided to make this dungeon, but I do not like it. So here's a healer. We're just gonna heal ourselves to full HP. And since we have the Fuma bell active, which is the Estoma item, we're not getting any encounters here except for one. We are at level 14 currently, and Q Sith incidentally is level 14 here. So he's the only thing that can show up, which is fine, because we actually want to recruit him as well. He also has Trafuri that lets us to run away from encounters, and he has also the skill called Happy Dance, which is an ailment that is gonna make the next boss slightly easier for us as well. It's a skill that makes enemy happy. It's the happy element. But yeah, this excuse is usually the worst, but in this run he's actually a good boy. We failed to recruit him there, but we have plenty of chances. As long as we recruit him by the end of this dungeon, everything is fine. The only slightly sketchy thing here is that he can appear on full moon, and you cannot talk to him on full moon, so you actually have to run away with your Trafuri user or our smoke bombs. There we select Komatte Runda, and we just want to talk. He doesn't want to talk. We're gonna try again. Try to get the recruit. We give him a lot of stuff. And yeah, we recruited him. So now that I have QCs recruited, I'm gonna remove Jack Frost because now I feel a lot safer. I just had Jack Frost there to cover MC a bit. The reason I desummon him is because there's a magnetite in the right top corner. Every time you have demons summoned and you take a step, it consumes magnetite. The more demons you have summoned, the more magnetite will be consumed. And I don't want to consume all of it. I made a mistake there well, not a mistake, well, kind of a mistake. I didn't use my Fuma Bell quickly enough, so I could have encountered there, but that's not a big deal. And yeah, now we're just gonna talk to Keeper here. That's one full cycle done. And I'm gonna do this 8 times, so enjoy. I'm gonna take a quick break on the commentary duty since my input is not necessary for this part. This is a part where I would talk with chat or whatever if I was doing live runs, but since this run was done offline, I'm gonna peace out for a minute. And yeah, enjoy the Ginza team and enjoy me running around this straight hallway for the next 10 minutes. And I'll be back once I have something to talk about. Alright, John is here again. I took a quick break during this dungeon, but we're back on commentary now. There's a small incident here on full moon, unfortunately, that I couldn't really avoid. I can't talk away the Q-Sith on full moon, so I'm just hoping to try Fury, but I wasn't able to, so I had to use the item. So now I have one less smoke bomb, which is fine. The annoying thing is I had to revive. I have to pay to revive. I actually had a Kintan item, which is basically a revival bead. I could have used that, and I should have used that to save 1k, but I did not realize I had that. It is a random drop, as far as I know, so I didn't realize I had it. I could have saved myself 1000 Maka, and that would have been really helpful for later, but yeah, a bit of a blunder there, not realizing it. We're coming towards the end of this section. Once it's rising 5-8, I am ready to go check on the students who have been excavating in the basement. So rising 5-8, we are done. Talk to the keeper. And then we go to the basement. But before going there, there's higher level encounters and stuff, so we're gonna summon our entire party for a bit of safety. You're also supposed to activate your mapper here, but I forgot. So we are a bit more vulnerable now because I forgot to do it. Luckily that didn't end up mattering. I realize here that, oh no, I don't have my mapper active. It didn't end up mattering for this fight. There's a follow-up. Not bad, and then I realize, yeah, I don't have mapper active. So now I have it. And the students have finished excavating and they found the ring, which we can use to enter the next domain. But first we have to leave here and do a small detour at the school. So here I get hit a little bit. I really don't want my Siak to die anymore. So we're just gonna heal here. Try to keep everybody alive and healthy. It's so annoying that in this game, even if you try Fury encounters, they can still spawn follow-ups. My Siak almost died. Not quite, so it definitely was worth healing him. And now we made it back to the previous floor, and now we just walk out of here. But yeah, I'm losing a decent amount of time in this split compared to my gold split, since I had to take those encounters back in Gluttony before leaving. Also, I took a few, and I kinda got bad encounters at the basement of this dungeon. But yeah, not a big deal. Before you leaving, you have to talk to this guy. If you don't, I believe Cerberus won't spawn. I think I've done that mistake once, but that was a long time ago. I don't remember exactly what happens if you don't talk to him, but I just know that you have to talk to him. I believe Cerberus won't spawn at the school if you don't. Anyway, we're going back to school. Before the next domain. Because of Cerberus. Cerberus is a optional boss that if you defeat, you also get to recruit him for free, so that's very nice. If you press no to his question, you end up attacking him immediately here. We don't want that. This fight is pretty RNG, so we're gonna take a quick safety save, the only save of the run. So we can retry in case we don't win on the first attempt. So what the plan to kill Cerberus is to use Hama and hope it hits him and instantly kills him. The good old SMT jank. We're also gonna use Happy Dance. If we land the Happy Ailment on him, then Hanma is guaranteed to hit. So we're just gonna use that. Do some buffs. Funnily enough, Happy Dance didn't even have a chance to activate there, and Yumi just hits the Hama. Very lucky. We kinda got stunned there a bit. I think that's the stun ailment, so yeah. Maita Ore something. Too many kanjis I can't read. Kongo tomo yoroshiku. So now we have Cerberus. We're gonna immediately make room for him because he is a very high level demon with 500 HP, and he also has Recarm, which is a spell that revives the dead. It's very useful. Much better than any other demon that we could have at this level. Once we're getting now to the late game, whatever, dungeons, we definitely do need someone like him in our party. So back to the expanse. We got the ring from Slot, so we're gonna immediately use it to open up the next domain, which is Envy. Envy has some nasty random encounters, so having Cerberus here is definitely the way to go. I guess this would be my least favorite after Sloth as a dungeon in this game. This dungeon is fine, but it's not too fun. There's just a lot of these pitch black areas, which are never like my favorite mechanic. A lot of old SMD games have them. Never been a huge fan. Here we just try to run away from stuff. We have two Trafuri users, so we're gonna use QSys and CX Trafuri, both of them. So here's a random student appears. I don't really know the plot of this part, but he basically kidnaps Yumi, I believe. I think he's like Hasama's lackey or something. So our Yumi gets taken away. No, not Yumi, our only way to heal. And we arrive at the small town hub of this place. And here's where my money gets a bit too tight. I need to buy two things here. I need to buy Dolphin Helm and Dokuro no Geirogi, that is the armor. I'm gonna sell whatever I can, sell my gun, sell any random drops that I have gotten. I need about 10,000 maka or so. I think the exact number is like 8.3k. Unfortunately, even after selling everything, I cannot afford what I want to buy. So here I kind of realized that, oh, I am really broke. So I'm gonna remove some of the equipment that I have and hope to sell those for some money. Just basically being desperate and trying to scrounge up any money that I possibly can. I also realized that I actually had a Kintan here, which is a revival bead item, so I'm gonna sell that as well. I could have done this a lot faster. I kinda spent too much time thinking about things here. I should have just sold things immediately. Yeah, I'm just trying to do whatever I can to make ends meet, and then I finally relent and decide, okay, time to sell the Kintan. And finally, after selling the disc poison, I barely have enough money. I'm gonna prioritize the Keirogi, since I'm gonna get a gear upgrade for the helmet later anyway. And Keirogi is the late game armor that I'm gonna have to use. So I prioritize that, and not having Dolphin Helm now is not the end of the world, because you upgrade it to Yakult Helm in the next dungeon. It would be helpful for safety, but if you have to choose between them, then definitely pick up the armor instead of the helmet. I usually have a lot of money trouble at this point in the run. It's really difficult to afford both of them. Here I'm a bit disorientated, just trying to find my way. Some of these spinners and rooms that flip you can be a bit disorientating. I'm gonna interact with the chest there, and I'm just hoping to not run into anything that can actually kill me. Yeah, there's not too much to talk about here, I'm just trying to make my way to the end of the dungeon. Here's a bit of a teleporter maze, we all love these in SMT games. This is like teleporter maze combined with dark area. Like my two least favorite things in SMT, and they're both here. So yeah, not a huge fan of Envy overall. Although teleporter mazes can be done well. For example, DDS2 does it very well in the egg facility revisit when you go there for the second time. That's a teleporter maze that is actually very enjoyable. But this kinda teleporter maze is not my cup of tea. So now there is a heal spot here, we're just gonna tag it, recover whatever we can, but I actually don't have any money left. Total 0 Maka, not a single Maka left. So I need to just accept my fate that I can't do anything here and just hope that nothing bad happens. But yeah, at the end of this teleporter maze there is a very good reward for us, since we do get access to the best sword in the game, I believe, the legendary Hinogakutsuchi. I believe the requirement for... I actually don't know what is the requirement, so don't quote me on this, but I believe if... Actually, no, I don't even know what the requirement is, to be honest. I shouldn't even pretend that I know, because I don't. I've heard other speedrunners talk about that, but I just don't remember. But yeah, we have the Hinogakutsuchi now. MC can finally start doing damage. We're gonna go through the rest of this teleporter maze. And then we are close to the end of the dungeon. But yeah, I think getting Hinogakutsuchi, it has something to do with your characters dying or something. Like if you die too much or something, you can't get it. I don't know. Not entirely sure, like I said. And yeah, here I'm just gonna have a quick think about where I am, because I was getting kind of disorientated. I kind of forgot where I was after I got that encounter. Alright, we are now at the end of the dungeon. There is Lilith next. I don't want to fight her on 3 out of 8 though. She gets weaker towards the lower end of the moon cycle. So I'm gonna spend 1 cycle just running around here to make her a bit weaker before I fight her. I'm gonna fight her on 2 out of 8. You could also do it at 1 out of 8, but yeah, I prefer to not do that. De-summon my Trafuri users so they don't die. And here we can see the power of the Hinogakutsuchi. And also gonna use Power Breath from Cerberus. I one-shot her because I got lucky and got the 8 hits in one go from my Hinogakutsuchi. You're not guaranteed to one-shot her, but Hinogakutsuchi is that good. And we have now retrieved Yumi. So what Power Breath does, it does damage to the enemy and also increases Tarukaja by 1 stage and Tsukukaja by 1 stage. So very good skill. But Cerberus didn't even get to use it there because MC killed Lilith too quickly. So we're gonna make our way to the guys here and leave, but we got 1 random encounter on the way. I didn't bother summoning my Trafuri users, so I'm just gonna kill her. Before we leave, we meet with Otsuki again, and the same plan. Sword, Power Breath, Yumi can defend. But yeah, this fight went really well as well. I got the 5 hit, followed up by 1 more. Put points into Vitality. Yumi can also dump into Vitality now. Minna baka na naze watashi ga, and something. But yeah, that's Otsuki 3 down. And now before going into Domain of Greed, we're gonna spend our moon cycle just to advance it a little bit. We need to advance the moon cycle for the Otsuki 4 fight. But I would rather do the advancing the moon cycle here instead of later, because later there can be random encounters, so I'll just do it here in the safety of the domain selection thing where encounters can't happen. And now we interact with the expanse thing again. And now Domain of Greed is available. It's a very cool dungeon, I like it a lot. Except some of the random encounters here are pretty damn scary. But yeah, now we're in a new dungeon, so summon Q-Sith and Siak back. We're gonna need them to run away from fights again. At this point, I could also try fighting some fights maybe, but some fights can actually just kill you, even with a lot of HP. I'm especially scared of Jin that spawns here. I had a run recently where Jin just appeared and one-shot MC from over 200 health before I had a chance to do anything, so not... I really don't want to fight. It's kind of a waste of time as well. You don't really need to take any more fights in this run. I'd just rather Trafuri from everything that I can. But yeah, there's my QC is getting one shot. But since Cerberus has Recarm at this point, it's pretty quick to bring them back in. Also, I didn't mention it, but I activated Mapper at 1.8 there. That makes it so that we have a higher chance to go first again. I don't use it for the navigation part. I just want the bug where I can run away from things easier, or act first rather, and which also it makes it safer to run away basically. But yeah, this is my nightmare encounter, the Jin. I do not like Jin. He's very scary. I have to use an emergency smoke bomb here. Because my Trafuri users died. Oh, this is a bit of a time waste having to recover from this, but yeah, nothing you could really do about that. Also, every time you die, you have to select a Trafuri again, otherwise your characters would just attack if you press auto. So it's even more... yeah, you kinda lose a lot of time if that happens. I made it to the city hub of this dungeon. Gonna heal here whatever small amount of MP I can back. Then we'll do a quick stop at the shop here. The one thing interacting with the shop does, it resets the moon cycle back to 0 steps. And also I'm gonna buy 3 Migawari no Tamas. I think it's called Decoy Sphere in English. What this item does, it revives a human character if they die in a fight. I need them for the final boss. Also, I'm gonna stock up on smoke balls as much as I can, so that's the Enmakudan. Just all of my money gone. But a bit later we'll be relying on solely on the smoke bombs to run away, since our Trafuri users are so low level that we would have to be reviving them all the time, which we don't want to do. They're still doing the job for now, but in a little while we're not gonna be using them anymore. So this dungeon has a gimmick with these boxes here, that the more you open them, the stronger the final, the stronger the boss of this domain gets. We're gonna be opening chests number 1, 4, and 6, and not the other ones. And then in the next floor there will be more chests with some good equipment that we will want. We want basically the Panzer suit and the Panzer leg, I believe, and the Yakult helm and the Yakult armor. So we're gonna be opening chests number 1, 12, 13 and 14. And we just opened a total of 7 chests, which means that the boss of this dungeon is only at their second form, so it's a very weak version of the boss. I think it goes up to 8 forms if you open everything, and yeah, that's not a good time. You could still defeat the third form decently easy, I believe, but yeah, I think the speedrun used to do that. Fight the third form and pick some more good stuff there. But yeah, nowadays we just fight the second form. So equip my Yakult armor, and on Yumi recruit the Panzer suit and whatever the other item was. Panzer something, helmet or legs or whatever. And then we just let MC one shot with Hinokakutsuchi. Unfortunately I missed, so I have to do it again. But not a big deal. Triple hit from Hinokakutsuchi is enough to defeat Chefei. Dameda. He basically calls us no fun because we didn't open up a lot of those chests. And Otsuki is here again. So now that Chefei is down, we're gonna head to fight Otsuki one more time. And actually the 4th fight at Otsuki is, believe it or not, it's the scariest fight in the entire run for me, personally at least. He can hit very hard. I think he's scarier than fighting Hazama, at least on the moon cycle that we fight him at. I'm not sure if this Otsuki fight gets weaker at lower moon cycle, but we fight him at 7 out of 8. And the reason for that is that it sets up our moon cycle to be new moon once we get to the final fight against Hazama, so we don't have to spin around. So we take a little bit of extra risk against Otsuki 4 to have the safest possible Hazama fight, because even fighting Hazama at any other cycle than new moon is pretty damn scary. So we got a little bit more money. We're gonna be spending that for more smoke balls in a second, but first we're gonna talk to this NPC, which I don't actually know what this does. I'm gonna have to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what that did. But it's part of the notes, so I know that I'm supposed to do it, but I actually don't know what that does, to be completely honest. Anyway, buying more smoke balls. And then we'll head to fight Otsuki 4. But first we heal whatever we can. We're gonna go to the chest to keep our moon cycle at 7-8. We don't want it to fall down to 6-8. And yeah, here's Otsuki. So it's very important that we get our Jack Frost killed in this fight. So we're gonna summon him here. The reason for that is we want to Necroma him for the Hazama fight to use his Rakukaja. So we get him killed in this fight. So again, Hinokokutsuchi hit, Power Breath, everybody else just defend or attack. Jack Frost dies immediately, which is what we want. Siak and Q-Sith are just here as extra bodies, and because it takes time to desummon them, at this point we don't even care if they live or die. So there's no point in desummoning them anymore. I'm just gonna put points into Vitality. If I had more... If I had more better equipment, I think. Well, actually, I'm not sure. I feel like my stats are a bit wrong here somehow. I feel like I don't have enough strength and speed, but I'm not sure what's causing it. So I just put my points into Vitality because I wasn't sure how that's supposed to work. My knowledge of this game is a bit lackluster, to say the least, for some of these speedrun strats. But yeah, here's the guys here. Well, that takes us back to the beginning of the dungeon. But yeah, I should look into some of the mechanics of this game a bit more deeply, I think, to make sure I know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I haven't really prepared for this commentary that much, so you can probably tell. Anyway, we're gonna interact with the expanse thing one more time. That takes us back to the school. And this is the final dungeon. If you go to the 4th floor, it takes us to alternate dimension. Or something like that. And now we're just gonna make our way through this very complicated teleporter maze. This whole dungeon is just a giant teleporter maze, basically. And at this point, we don't have our Trafuri users and there's no point reviving them, so we're just relying on smoke balls. Which I think I had like 25 of them in this run, so that's more than enough to get through this section, I think. I don't think I paid much attention to my Cerberus HP during the run, but yeah, I think I should have definitely healed him here. If Cerberus dies here, I don't actually have any way to revive him. So that would actually be really bad. There was a bit of a lack of concentration from me. I should have definitely healed him to full for this section to make sure that he does not die, because that would be pretty damn bad. So this is the last floor before we get to the safe area where there's no more encounters. We're gonna get the moon cycle advanced to new while we go through these doors here. And it's a bit scary because our mapper runs out like right now. So at this point we don't have any guarantee, or like we don't have the higher odds of going first for any of the encounters, which luckily enough we don't get more than the one fire dude earlier, but yeah. And now we just climb to the top floor, which is the roof, the floor 11. There's no more encounters here. Our moon cycle won't advance either because all of these floors we walk through takes less than 16 steps, and once we go to the upper floor the moon cycle resets back to 0 steps. But here we're gonna go fight Hazama, who has been taunting us the entire game. Finally we get to actually fight him. Like I said, this fight is very difficult if you don't do it on full moon. The powered up version of Hazama is not very pleasant. So here's behind this door, we're gonna prep, get our Goblin and Goblin here, and our Siak. The reason we summon them is that they have Makakaja. Or more damage from Power Breath, I believe, and also I think it makes Yumi's Dia better. Yeah, I didn't even bother healing Cerberus apparently. I think I just completely forgot that he was missing HP. But yeah, first turn we're gonna use Silence Ball or what is it called? Zaiyaku no Kane? Shiyaku no Kane? Either one. On MC, and I think that's actually I think that's an instant kill protection, maybe. And then we're gonna use a flute, which is Sasanami no Fue or Chichinami no Fue, either, I can't tell. I'm gonna use that on Jack Frost. That's basically Necroma's Jack Frost, which means that he can be dead while summoned onto the field, which means he can't be killed. The reason we do this is so we can buff our Rakukacha up, because he can't get killed. And then we're gonna use a Decoy Sphere or Mikawari no Tama, which means one of our characters can't get killed, or like they resurrect once they get killed. We have 3 of those. It only works on human characters, so if Yumi dies or MC dies, they get resurrected. And then we just punch with Hirokakutsuchi, Rakukachi with Jack Frost, use Power Breath, and Yumi Dia Hero to keep my MC alive as long as possible. And yeah, then we fight. So here I'm gonna use a Soma on Cerberus to get him to full HP. And more important, get his MP back so he can use more Power Breath for damage. I'm also gonna try and keep Yumi alive a bit longer before I let her die. I'm playing kinda safe. I could just let her die immediately. But yeah, I'm just playing a bit safe because I'm scared. I had a run die here because I goofed up early, like I think yesterday it was, before getting this run or so. Just playing a bit safe because I just wanted to finish this run and update my PB. But yeah, Hasama has 20,000 HP, so he's pretty damn bulky. Even though I'm getting good hits from Hinoka Kutsuchi, it takes a while to actually get him to go down. So here I let my Yumi die. I know that she will get resurrected. She's still alive at 1 HP. There we go, she goes down. And then I have to use another Migawari no Tama or Decoy Sphere to make sure that I have one active if Yumi dies again, so she can get resurrected. Or if MC dies, I need to always have one of them active. Then the same game plan, just keep punching, Yumi heal MC. Then I use a Soma on Yumi as well, because he was getting kinda low and running out of MP as well kinda, so just use my last Soma on her to keep her healthy. And then keep healing MC, keep attacking. And there we go, Hasama goes down. Not the fastest fight, I played it a bit too safe. But also I really just didn't want the run to die here, that would have been really annoying. And here I goof up a bit, I wasn't sure where the entrance was to leave. And that concludes Yumi's story, everybody's happy now. Hasama has been defeated and everything is back to normal. And now the best part of the run, we get to sing the song. Reho fushio aoki tettoku nagare wa kiyoki kan nagawa shishou mo kataki wa kodo ka tsudoite tatsuru manabi e yo karugo 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 sakakoko. Alright, I'm not the best singer, but we have now officially sung the theme song of the Karugo. And that concludes the run. The timer will stop once the end fully appears on the screen. It's the RTA timing rule, but I have nothing further to add to this commentary, so I'm gonna leave you with that. Thank you for staying here and watching the run, and I'll see you in a future PB of some other game. And yeah, have a good one and peace out.